that if my office doesn't know and assessment
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Esther, would you do the invocation, please?
Father, thank you for this day and thank you for all the good things you have shown us and given us. Look after the board as we make our decisions tonight and help us in any way you can. Look after those who are sick and in need of your help. In your name we pray, amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, acceptance of the regular session minutes from June 14th, 2022.
I make a motion.
Motion by Barry. Who seconds? McCollum. Roll call.
Bowler,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Duchesne,
Yes.
Duquesne,
Yes.
Oak,
Yes.
Hudson, Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Madsen,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
and Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Additions or deletions to the agenda, approval? Motion by.
No, finance or under action, number one, we don't have anything. Well, ARPA.
Okay. Anything else?
Then I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion by Spangler, second by Beck. Any discussion? Call roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Duchesne,
Yes.
Duquesne,
Yes.
Oak,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Madsen,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
and Bowler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Announcements, communications, correspondence. In your packet, you'll see this for the Veterans Affair. Nathan Johnson will be at these locations on these days, but you should call ahead to make sure he's there. Proclamations, the Fulton County Disaster Proclamation, that's going to continue. Any motion, unless somebody wants to hear
Motion.
Motion.
it. Mattson and Thompson.
I'll read it. I think I got it memorized.
Call roll.
Who was it? Roger.
Mattson and Thompson.
Duchesne,
Yes.
Duquesne,
Yes.
Oak,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Madsen,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Bowler,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, discussion action resolution for Connie, Knesty? What?
Kaczynskis?
Okay.
Kaczynski, yeah, there we go.
Kuczynski?
Kaczynski.
Retirement from the circuit clerk's office. Could you read that, please?
Whereas Connie Kuczynski, longtime employee of the Fulton County Circuit Clerk's Office, retired on June 20th, 2022. And whereas Connie Kuczynski has faithfully served the residents of Fulton County for 12 years. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize Connie Kuczynski for her years of service to Fulton County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fulton County Board that this board go on record in recognition of the work of Connie Kuczynski during her years as a valued employee of the Fulton County Circuit Clerk's Office. And be it further resolved that this resolution be recorded in the permanent files of the Fulton County Board. So let's give Connie a round of applause for her service. She's a heck of a cook too, if you guys don't know that.
Absolutely is. Pies and cakes.
Pies and cakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So can I have a motion to
You know I gotta add that.
Coomer
I'll make a motion.
and Barry? Call roll, please.
Coomer?
Coomer and Barry.
Coomer and Duchesne. All right, we're down to Duquesne,
Yes.
Hoke,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yeah.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Madsen,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yeah.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett.
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Bowler,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Duchesne.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. All right, public remarks. We have Alex Messina from Heartland Greenway CO2 pipeline. You have to come up and speak, please. Yeah. Can you give him your mic?
Take this out.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Alex Messina. I work for Heartland Greenway, actually Navigator CO2 Ventures, which is developing the Heartland Greenway project. I've been an environmental attorney for a little over 23 years, and I was here last month to listen to Joyce's presentation, which is glad to see that she's joined us this evening, and bummed to not have her here in person. But I guess I first wanted to start off by saying that I understand, and Laura Donahue, who works with me, understand that you guys have a lot of questions about this project. Why, what are the benefits, economic and environmental benefits, and how are we going to be different than other development projects that have come before us? And why are we coming through Fulton County and Illinois in general? And I guess, I want to be sure to say, very clearly that, I want to answer all of those questions. I've talked to the chairman about coming back at your next board meeting and doing a broader presentation as opposed to I already hear the 5 minutes ticking in the background. So I'm trying to be brief, which is hard for me, as Laura would attest to. But, very, very quickly, the Heartland Greenway project is a CO2 pipeline that will transport condensed liquefied CO2 from right now over 30 ethanol plants in the Midwest from 5 states, including Illinois, and will transport it via pipeline to sequestration site, probably 2 sites in central and eastern Illinois. And it has significant benefits both to the ethanol industry, also to the environment. Sequestration is a very important tool in the push to address emissions of carbon dioxide into the air. So it has multiple benefits, not just financial, but environmental as well. we get a lot of questions, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions yourselves, maybe from the folks that you talked to have heard about this project. Certainly the folks that were here a month ago. We hear all the time about pipeline safety, and we hear about the economic benefits, the easements, and is there a benefit to the county? Also, land restoration. It's a pipeline. Those are really important issues. There are a lot of important issues, and so I just want to commit to coming back and doing kind of a brief presentation, a little bit longer than now, that I'm up here now, much like Joyce did, to kind of fill in some of the gaps. We're also going to have some technical folks from the company coming through Illinois in August, and so I've also committed to the chairman to bring those folks here as well to again answer any of the questions you have. We do have a website that has a lot of information that's available, heartlandgreenway.com. That is a very high level, website. It has the county maps, including Fulton County, that gives you a general notion of what we're proposing. We have not filed anything yet with the Illinois Commerce Commission, which is really the first formal step that would have to occur before anything at all could move forward. That hasn't happened yet. But again, I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I will be back. Some of you may be groaning, but hopefully not too many. And kind of give you the full picture and again answer all the questions, of which I'm sure that you have many. And so I guess that's all. I don't know if you wanted me to take any questions from folks now.
We don't normally do questions and stuff, but does anybody have any questions?
It's a pretty easy crowd.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is the economic upside for this county?
So
I mean, is or isn't there? Because
I would say yes, and I'll walk through that. So number one, interestingly, Illinois is one of the few states that does not tax pipelines as real property. And so when Navigator developed this project over the course of the last few years, there was an anticipation that they would be paying each county property taxes, but that's not the case. So the first piece of your question is, they anticipate working with the county to make a payment in lieu of the taxes that frankly they anticipated paying anyway. So that's one piece of that puzzle. There will also be, and these are indirect benefits obviously, but there will be short-term construction jobs, and we've already started working with state labor groups in Illinois to ensure that they are engaged and involved in this project. So there will be some temporary jobs that will come from that. There is some modest, and I don't want to exaggerate it, but there is a modest benefit in the form of payments for easements. And this is something again that you obviously should all take this with a grain of salt, but one of the things that we've seen in other states, but also in Illinois, where they are also looking to sequester, which again, I probably should have mentioned that there are 2 sequestration sites near Decatur. ADM is already sequestering in 2 different sites. And if there's ever an interest to kind of see, it was hard for me to wrap my mind around what these sites actually look like until I visited it. And there's a National Sequestration Education Center at Richland Community College that is available and open for tours, and you can actually see a sequestration site there. But boy, talk about a tangent, sorry. What we've seen in Decatur, where they're sequestering, and in Hennepin, where Marquis Ethanol is also planning to sequester, is it brings in other businesses. They want to take it. They know, because of environmental regulations and statutes, that they're going to have to reduce their emissions. They are actually choosing to locate near these pipelines and near these sequestration sites. I believe in Hennepin, they've announced that there's a low carbon jet fuel manufacturer that wants to locate. And then this is the 3rd time this week that I've forgotten the name, so maybe I'll get that right the 4th time. But there is a zero emission electric generating facility that is looking to locate in Decatur. So there's the potential And again, I want to emphasize potential, but there's potential for additional jobs and revenue from those projects.
How often do you have to use eminent domain to get across property?
Again, another one of the huge questions and understand how important that is. So I'm sure you've heard this before, and anyone who's talking about any one of these projects, it is not in the company's interest whatsoever to utilize eminent domain at all for a lot of reasons. It takes a lot of time and it is costly both for the company and for the landowner. So, at this point, it's their preference to not even have to go down that road, obviously. It really is just it's kind of why I'm here now and why there will be land agents down the road trying to work with landowners as they get a better sense of exactly where that route is going to be. It's, hopefully they'll be able to have very productive, and it's happened in some counties already where they've had very good conversations where a landowner says, well, this is what I think the value is, and they're able to negotiate that out. One of the things we see are landowners that pool together as groups, and I think I would be in this position if I was a landowner. I don't negotiate easements for a living, so they kind of pool together, and occasionally they will hire a lawyer who that's what that person does is negotiates those agreements. So that's happened already, and those folks are negotiating on a price already. So it's a very long-winded way of saying hopefully never, but it's kind of to be determined. Yes, ma'am.
Going through different parts of the state. We've got a lot of old shaft mines, got a lot of mines guidance.
Right.
Stuff you don't know about, because it's not mapped.
That's it. That's great. And actually, my last home had mine some signs, so I know all about things that aren't mapped. It's a great question, and so the answer to that is the map that you will see on the website is one far broader than what the actual pipeline route will be, because they don't know exactly where it's going to go. It's a general notion. When Navigator sought to kind of develop this project and they weren't sure where it would go, they undertake this exercise where they are looking at all the publicly available databases that are out there. But as any government official or government employee knows, those records aren't necessarily, you don't know everything. And so again, another part of the reason for having such a wide area. So what happens is, again, as these land agents reach out to landowners, they say, what don't we know? What can you tell us? Whether it's mine subsidence, which is, a perfect example, or is it, I yesterday had conversations about a landowner who has a series of trees that were planted by her great grandparents that were very important to the family. So my point is something as simple as trees to something as broad as subsidence or other issues that, frankly, we wouldn't find out from just a computer exercise. That's where it's really important to have those conversations with folks here who know.
Okay. Alex,
Yeah, I've gone
we're
forever.
pushing 12 minutes here now. So.
Yeah, sorry. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I'm going to see about having him come back next month and put him on the agenda so we can have a little more lengthy discussion about it if anybody wants to. So, thank you. Okay, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Bowler,
Second.
second by Beck. Anything else in there? Everybody see everything in there pretty good, what they need? Call roll.
Hoke,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Kessel,
yes,
Coomer,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Spangler.
Yeah.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Bowler,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Duchesne,
Yes.
and Duquesne.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the action agenda, treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, starting off, we had a property tax distribution that took place the end of last month. It was our second distribution. So far, of the 51.9 million in change that's estimated to be collected this year, 32.2 million in change has been collected and distributed. That's 62%. So money is coming in and money is going out, which is a very good thing. In terms of property tax collection as well, mobile home bills were mailed a week or two ago. The due date is same as second installment due date, which is September 2nd. If any of your constituents have any questions on their bill, please ask them to contact my office. Also, in regards to property taxes, the seal bid auction, annual auction that happens every year is going on right now. The seal bids must be turned into my office by 4 p.m. on Friday, July 22nd. We will send them off in the mail to Joseph E. Myers and Associates in Edwardsville, which that's who our trustee program is with. My office, I have no idea who is bidding, what they are bidding on, what the amounts are. We are merely a mechanism to get people the catalogs and bid sheets and the mechanism for them to turn it in. Any questions, please feel free to call me at any time. Any questions on real estate, mobile home, distribution? Are we good? Okay, moving right along. On County Gen, we talk about that every month. And for the month of June, in revenue, we had $1,328,563.23. Expenses totaled $985,453.24. That gave us a net surplus of $343,109.99. That puts us just under a surplus of $2.5 million for County Gen. When you look at the budget reports to see where we are of revenue coming in, we are at 76.29%, and of expenses, we are at 55%. So kudos to the department heads for watching the bottom line in terms of expenditures and what's being spent. And thank goodness that our tax revenue that's coming in, PPRT, we've been killing it. Knock on wood, don't want to jinx us. So that'll be a conversation, I think, that the finance committee, in terms of what amount we're going to recommend for revenue next year, it's going to be interesting. So again, I'm very grateful that we have the extra amount coming in. Can we forecast next year and the years to come if that trend will continue? I don't have that crystal ball, and if I did, I wouldn't be your county treasurer. So, but the good takeaway is that there is a fair amount of revenue coming into County Gen. In terms of net assets that I am monitoring, we are at $42,363,638.43. And that is all of the funds in terms of what we have in assets, whether it's a liquid account, money market account, CD, or government and pool vesting. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Stacey. Okay, health, Laura?
Not much, no COVID in the facility at this time, thank goodness. And I think we're at 40 residents currently. We do have some work that needs to be done in the facility that's been in the works for months. we will bring that bid to the full board at next month's meeting. Happy to answer any questions, but I don't think I have any other updates at this time.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Laura? Okay, thank you. County Highway, Nestor.
You've probably seen in some news releases through the county. Culvert work is beginning in various locations on County Highway 15. There was road closures on that. Right now, County Highway 15 is closed from Route 9 down to Check Road Church. Mowing's taking place, the shoulders, right-of-ways, trying to get that done. We're about 3/4 of the way done. And probably start over and do it again. That's about all I have.
Okay. Any questions?
On the resolution for the building, they're getting $2 million in ARPA funds,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're thinking you're gonna need another $1.5 million.
Yeah, the architect's bid is let. We haven't drawn the building up. We have not really a good sense of what the money's gonna be on that yet. So we kind of left that open. If we need to go more, we do. If not, we'll be less, we'll go less. You got anything to add to that, Keith?
Yeah,
Explain it a
so,
little better than me.
the $2 million in ARPA funds, is what the finance committee was willing to give us, so that's great. This resolution was to authorize that $2 million towards spending on the architecture and construction. While we did the resolution, I wanted to put in there that in the event that the bids do come in over 2 million later this winter, well, I hope we put it out for bid, that we have options to go off the bond if need be, up to that amount. Up to, if it were to cost an additional $1.5 million. And part of that money would be paid through the additional county highway tax levy that was increased approximately a year ago. So that's, if that were to need to take place, this just sets that up so that when the bids do come in, we have some, the bid will be awarded through this board. I mean, so everyone will know what it will cost at that point. This is just getting everything set up, so when the time comes, we have the opportunity to move forward with it. So,
If you're gonna have to pay back, say, just an extra $1.5 million, that money comes out of your fund. So those funds will be used for the road.
yeah, and so this last year, the highway, county highway tax levy was increased from 0.0765% to 0.1% of the EAV. So that brings in an additional 100 to 130,000 a year approximately that we were not receiving before. So a way to look at that is that's an opportunity to put towards the building while still attempting to maintain the roads and fleet we have at the same rate as before that levy was increased. So,
That answer your question?
Kind of, I just, don't want us to get overextended
Cool.
on bonds.
yeah,
That'll be fine.
I've had conversations with Justin and Stacy and Patrick about some of this and the numbers. Again, before the construction amount is awarded to a contractor, it'll go before, this board would have to award that amount. So you will know if it's 2 million or 2.5 million. We don't know. The economy right now is, that's why I want this to be set up so that when the day comes, we can kind of not miss a beat and get things.
What were you originally raising the money for when there was no building to buy?
The building. a large part
It
of it.
was originally in.
And
that was-
it has never been at max. So that was the goal of mine when I came here to do that.
That is why, that
And the
is why it
building,
was.
that's why we're allowed to.
So long as it wasn't really increased from something else.
No.
Now we're not doing it for that, but it is. I wonder what happened with that money.
Yeah, when we decided to start looking at building the building,
I'm good with that.
we raised the tax levy, so
Yeah.
it would pay for that
I'm good
extra
with that.
bond if we have to do it. Well,
What's our fallback plan if it comes in at 3.5?
We will cross that.
4 million.
We'll cross
How
that
much
bridge.
money, how much money have we wasted?
The architects, well, we haven't wasted anything. I mean, the architects will come up, when they come up with the bid specs.
We're gonna pay for an architect. to do
Yeah.
That's right. So they
We're
come up
gonna
with.
spend money. no
but
matter.
there's no way
I mean, I
around
don't wanna
that.
be the bearer,
Well,
but, I mean,
when this, how this usually works is the architects will come up with the bid documents, the plans, and part of that will be, I will know, they'll provide a cost estimate. So if they estimate the building is gonna cost $2.5 million based on the economy at the time, and all the materials, and it comes in at 3.5, then we would have the right to consider rejecting that bid, because that's why they provide the estimate. The architects or engineers provide the cost estimate when they're done for design, what they think it would cost. So, I mean, I don't know at this time, but you can always reject the bid, but you never know if you go out for bid, if you're getting lower one, or the more you go out for bid, sometimes it goes up, so.
The only thing I would add to that, one thing to keep in mind is that this will be separated out. So when you look at the resolution and the way it was worded on the consent agenda, a highway bond fund will be created. So just like what we did with Clayburgh, when there was that $1 million for the Clayburgh bond, you as a board approved all that. You had the oversight, you approved that bond process every step of the way. So that money will be separated out. That first $2 million that has already been designated for ARPA. Keith and I have talked in terms of timeline, cost studies, different things along the way. So I don't want you to feel that there will not be any transparency involved by any means at all. And you approved it in the consent agenda to go ahead with the resolution of the 1.5. And so you'll see it in the financials. You'll see when there's expenditures. You'll see those claims. You'll see it every step of the way. So any questions on the financial side? The build side, it's Keith. Don't ask me
That
about
goes hand in
that
hand.
Do what?
That goes hand in hand, the building and financial, because
right,
we're
and-
paying for it to get built, so that goes hand in hand.
Correct.
I guess, like I said, I brought up, what if we can't get it under that 3.5?
We will have to cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, that, at that
Unless that
point,
bridge is falling through already.
at that point, there's gonna be a lot of, anything will be on the table at that point. I mean, we need to see what kind of design we get, what the market is at that time, and what the architectural, cost estimate will be before you go out, we even put out the bid. So when these guys turn in sealed bids, we have something to compare it to, some basis to accept or reject it.
May I know of a project that was done over there in Schuyler County at the school district. There was an auditorium being built over there. And one of the factors that you're talking about, Carl, is the cost of the project. When the engineers and the surveyors got it done, it was like $5 million. And the donor for that project said, no, I'm not paying that. So they had to have it surveyed and everything to bring that price down, and how they brought that price down to $3 million. And then the donor said, okay, you can
Went
build
through like a redesign.
Yes, it was, that was a plan that had to be done over there to get that structure started. And that took a while.
I mean, we don't want to cut corners, but, you know, I mean, if it gets to that point, then we'll have to, that's one of the bridges we have to cross.
Is this gonna be a loss for the county itself as far as maintenance on the roads?
No.
Not at all. In the future.
So
That's what this extra,
the $2 million of the ARPA money.
I understand that $2 million. I don't understand the other part.
So
so
the
what,
county highway tax levy used to be 0.0765%.
So what I'm saying is, what if you need that later?
I'm saying that we never had that in the previous years. This is our first year receiving that additional 1 to 100 to 130,000.
But isn't
I
that
think-
isn't that supposed to be for the labor adjustments and your material adjustments in the future years?
That's a huge increase over what we've been receiving in county highway.
You know
And
what
that's
it's gonna
what,
be like in 10 years?
I don't know what the bid's gonna come in at. That's an extra $130,000 that we've never had an operating budget in county highway for the history of the fund.
And don't forget, a lot of your labor, a lot of your personnel and labor costs come out of county motor fuel, not county highway. So, I mean, unless, God forbid, something would blow up with county motor fuel,
Yeah.
it has over 2 million in it. Township motor fuel has over 5 million, which granted, township motor fuel is not ours.
Yeah,
Is there something else that, not that I'm trying to get you all to feel warm and fuzzy, because, I mean, I'm not advocating for a shiny new building by any means at all, but just under the lens of looking financially speaking, is there something else that you feel you need that hasn't been provided?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in that, for that part. We can go on for, we can go, we have time for that.
Well,
basically-
Send me an email.
This is the absolute necessity. This building hasn't been maintained for years and years. It's time, and we need to move. And that's the reason for this resolution. That way, if we do get a bid and it's within the acceptable tolerance that the architect thought the construction would cost, we're ready. We're ready to go. I'm hoping, with this in place, things like spraying and construction are maybe possible. So just trying to give us tools so that Patrick, Stacy, and Justin and I can pursue these things if needed when the time comes.
Donnie,
How big is this building? I know where the property is.
Yep.
The office building, are you gonna keep it or is it going to go?
It's all under one roof. It's all coming down.
Okay, it's all. Are you gonna be keeping all of the equipment inside?
I have a staging plan that's part of the architectural service RFP, was that they are responsible for coming up helping with the staged construction plan. I have a pretty good stage line where we can keep everything stored inside and keep our mechanic working while we're building half the building. And then we would all move to that half while they're working on demo on the other half. So that's part of the architectural scope, is
So you're basically gonna fill all the land.
yeah, it'll be a different configuration, but yeah, it'll be, the way the building is on the middle of the property, we're gonna have to do staged construction, but we'll be operating out of that yard. We'll be maintaining roads the same way we always have been out of that yard this whole time.
the building's gonna be built on the other side of the property, be on the south side. Isn't that what you said?
Along the east side, working from south to north.
Oh, okay.
That's the route. I mean,
So it'd be on
Leave
the out.
west,
the
west side
utilities and
open.
everything, yeah, if utilities and everything allow, that's what I'm like.
Okay. Any other questions?
One more thing, it's a shout out to the guys working out there in the crews, putting up the heat and staying at
Yeah, a
it
little
for 10 hours, 12 hours a day, whatever.
A little warm, a little wet.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Public ground, public safety and campground. Mary?
We passed all the claims, and we just discussed the donation of the squad car to the Canton High School for a new automotive class for the 2022-2023 school year. It was a 2011 Crown Victoria car. Had like 160,000 miles on it. So we all voted on that and discussed it. And we're going to donate that vehicle to the Canton High School. In the campground, due to the storms of all the rain, he got a little over 3 inches, and he's repairing some boat docks and stuff in the roads. But that's about all I have to report.
Okay. Danny?
I just want to add to her comment on boat docks. He's relocating one
Oh,
boat
yeah,
dock,
that's right. He's relocated, what,
That's,
3.5 lake? Is that it?
Lake 3.5.
Yeah.
For better access and
You can take
it
care of
doesn't
it
soak
there.
into that.
I get lost up there. Thank
And the
you.
car you're donating is the last Crown Vic we've got, and it's the one with the least amount of electronics. So
Yeah,
that's
he
one to
said
make it to
the
school.
body's bad. and-
Yeah, it's been around a long time,
That's junk.
so
They can renovate it.
they can have at it. Okay, property and courts, Cindy?
I've been in contact with Bill Phillips. We're working still on getting the bids for the different projects that we've requested to do. And other than that, I've really got nothing else to report.
Okay. Anybody questions? Thank you. All right, P&L, Lisa.
Okay, do you want me to use the microphone? I will. Hello. I don't think it's on.
Can you
There it is.
Okay, I'll just yell. It's all right, I'll yell. Okay, so we have been working on several policies for several months. It's the pretty much the end of personnel manual. And it's there in your board packet tonight. We've got, I would like to make a motion to approve vacation leave, sick leave, holiday, and memorandum for at-will employees.
Motion.
Gotta read them.
Hang on a minute.
No.
Okay,
Are there any questions or
McCollum.
discussion?
and who?
Me?
Oh,
Thompson and McCollum.
Oh, Thompson, okay. Okay, any questions, comments?
How is this different from what the union employees get?
Well, there's many similarities in that the holiday policy is pretty much, the holiday schedule is defined as the union contracts are. Just so, we're just documenting so that the non-bargaining employees also had written guidelines for schedule, instead of just being told, you go along with the union contract.
And the courthouse is different because the judges contains the holidays, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but the schedule has all the different holiday schedules associated with it. There are some minor differences from the union contracts. I do not have all of those memorized. But it's really just to set forth what non-bargaining employees are entitled to. Pretty much the same with sick and vacation. Now, the vacation is, the sick time has a tendency to,
Well, if you look at the 1,680 hours that they accumulate, and it says, it shall not be paid to employees upon resignation or termination. That's not the union contract, I mean, that's way
it is in several of the union contracts. It's not in all the union contracts.
different. Well, I'll say it's not in the courthouse one anyway.
It is not in the courthouse. It is in the highway, and I believe it's also in the Claybird. I'm not positive about the health department. So there's a large variety of union contracts, and yet we just didn't have any definition for non-bargaining. So we tried to put something together so that they also had definition. Did that answer your question? I do want to talk about this memorandum for at-will employees. Okay. So on this memorandum, because we have never had definition for non-bargaining employees for vacation, sick time, etc., it's possible that somebody's supervisor has promised them something different than what we were setting forth in policy. So if they have been promised something beyond what is in this policy, we are going to grandfather them to that entitlement. And therefore, this form would need to be filled out in order to grandfather them to that entitlement if it is different than this policy. But if there's any break in service, they will revert to policy. Also, this is supposed to be guidelines for hiring new non-bargaining personnel. We need to start treating all of our employees equal. We've got a contract for the bargaining agreements for all the different people, and our non-bargaining people need to be treated the same across the board as well. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
So if we're gonna do that, why don't we go back to where we were a few years ago? And when we do a union contract, we put the Me Too clause in there and just pay the non-union, do the non-union employees the same as the union employees after we do a contract.
Me too? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what we used to call it years ago. I don't know if that's actually the right word for it, but
So
we always gave the non-union employees the
We'll
same
have
thing as what the
same benefits.
Yep.
as
Same thing.
union.
And we got away from that a few years.
There's four different union contracts though, with a lot of differences in them. So which one do you pick?
Well, you would have highway, any non-union employees in the highway department would get what the union highway employees get. Courthouse would get what courthouse gets. Sheriff would get what sheriff gets. Clayburgh get what Clayburgh gets.
So all the non-bargaining people who don't bargain
Mhm.
So
nor pay union dues.
Okay. Union dues are not that much. I mean, to make up that. So
But they
the
don't,
non-union positions are basically there because we can't have them as a union position for whatever reason.
in
It's not
general,
because the employee doesn't want to be a union, it's because we can't have a union.
in general.
So why don't we penalize them because they have to? And then what I'm getting at here is that, so somebody hires into a non-union position, they're gonna stay there until a union position comes open, and then they're gonna try to acquire that union position. And then you gotta start over hiring somebody and training them again for that position.
You're gonna have to hire and train in one position, one or the other. If they don't go take the union job, then where are we filling that one gotta be trained?
There's truth in all that, Roger. I'm not gonna disagree with that. Companies typically have non-bargaining personnel policies and aside from their union contracts.
But they make them pay for it. They pay for it just like the union does. They pay half.
What?
They pay half.
Half of what?
Anything that has to do with that union, if the union's paying full amount, that's to tell you the same thing. If a non-union person comes in there and the contractor all hires him, he still has to pay. If he don't want to be in the union, he still has to pay half.
She's talking about the non-union positions, though, not
I
the.
know that, but why should the union negotiate their contract?
Oh, I agree the premise.
They should not agree, they should not negotiate their contracts.
There, you said you wanted to make everything,
Very confused.
you made the statement that you wanted to keep them all.
Non-bargaining people, they
All the
have
same.
to have definition. Now, okay, so we talked about this when we were talking about salary increases, and this is where this all started. Because the salary schedules for the finance committee said non-bargaining people do not automatically follow bargaining unit salary schedules. That they are set via the finance and the board. And so it was decided on numerous occasions that they're not bargaining employees. They are not part of the bargaining unit. We need a set of rules for them.
They are not part of the bargaining.
And so therefore that led to, we need to have policies for them. Now, we could have written, yeah, they follow union contract, but it was my impression that
That's why we didn't do that.
it was felt that we needed separate policy for non-bargaining. So there you have it.
I think they probably all ought to be the same. I mean, this is just sick leave and holiday pay and everything. And they're following the same schedule as usually the courthouse has done. That would be pretty well even on the sick leave and stuff too.
Are there any further questions?
What if, we're talking about courthouse employees, what about like 70 units, the ones that work for other divisions that aren't covered by a union contract, but they are covered by different rules or laws?
That's these, non-bargaining, they're non-bargaining employees, and therefore they fall under the policies of the town. And the idea partially is that, when really the idea is that now, when we start hiring people in the future, they have a set of guidelines that they've agreed to. Which is why we put the memorandum in here to grandfather people to some of their existing. But we now have policies that they can see as a non-bargaining employee what they're entitled to. When they hire in.
When their vacation is, when their sick days is.
Right.
Don't they make that choice, Lisa, themselves? Don't they make that choice themselves?
Who?
That they want to be non-union?
They're non-union jobs. That works for the judge, it's a non-union job.
So instead of just being told when they come in, oh, you get this, and this, I'm gonna tell you, that's kind of how it's been done. You get this and that, and we needed something documented for, lots of reasons.
Well, like, for some of them, like the judges, they're under a different classification as far as confidentiality. So is some other people. That's a different rule. And so we're gonna follow that rule. Don't the people that are under confidentiality, wouldn't they have the same pay scale? Or would that?
I'm not gonna say that the pay scales for non-bargaining employees don't need to be set forth too, because they do.
So that they know what's going on.
So that they know that when they're hired in, confidentiality employee makes it, it really is more work that needs to be done. There's still more work. I'm just gonna say that. For now, got policies.
This is a guideline policy that we worked on for non-union employees so that they have a better understanding of
What
their
they're
status as being hired as an employee for the county.
Okay. So that when we hire someone, they have written documentation of what they're entitled to.
So you're saying you want this as a starting point and then you're gonna add to it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying we need salary schedules for non-bargaining employees too. You know, what their range of pay is for the different levels as well.
I know what she's trying to do. I mean, it's pretty simplified, is what she's trying, what she wants. But I don't think it should have anything to do with the unions at all.
It does not.
It doesn't. It's separate.
That's the idea, that's why it was written
What you
separately.
said here a while ago, though, you want to follow.
No, she didn't say that. It was said, it wasn't her that said it.
You have a question?
Yes, I have a couple of questions, actually. Talk about at-will employees, part-time, whatever you want to call it,
Non-bargaining.
non-bargaining. And I want to use a couple offices as an example. Char's office, for example, some of her, she needs to hire someone part-time, non-bargaining for answering the phone, for example. Fine, Danny, you know, whatever. If she's got in her budget, fine. But I guess what I'm concerned about, we're talking about at-will employees, comparing them to union contracts, giving them the same thing and everything. And it's just, it's not gonna work for a couple of different reasons. Because there's people in her, and I'll use her office, that are doing criminal work that a part-time person or non-bargaining person probably has no access to for whatever reason, for confidentiality or whatever. And I'm not saying they should be treated equally or anybody. I mean, I know this come up in the treasurer's office years ago where the past treasurer needed help and she couldn't get a part-time person, non-bargaining, to use in her office at the time that she needed it. And I know you can't change the past, but then there's the question of, you know, how are they gonna be rated compared to the bargaining unit people and the people in her office who are classified, you know, class 3, class 4 people. I mean, when we're talking at-will employees, I mean, I'll use the zoning department, for example. We've been looking for a part-time person for Janice for, gosh, how many months now, Steve? I mean, several months, 3 years, and can't get a person hired for 10 hours a week for whatever odd reason, you know? But my point being is, a person working 10 hours in that office, answering the phone, typing letters up or whatever, I mean, are we gonna give them the same thing as a person who's in the union?
It's a union
But,
position.
yeah, that was a bad example because that's a
Janice's
union
role is
position.
contract.
I understand that.
Yes,
I
you are.
understand
If you're gonna use zoning as an example, Janice is under contract.
Right.
The zoning part-time position is in the union
That's a
contract.
union position.
So that certain position is in the union contract. The only thing that I want to add to any of this conversation, Lisa started with that there's a lot of discrepancies across the board with the contracts. We have several bargaining unit contracts. We have the health department that has a personnel manual. We have Clayburgh that has contracts. The nurses, the DON, third shift supervisor and that, they are under the personnel manual. A full-time union due is $24.60 per pay period. A part-time is $18.47 per pay period. I nor anybody else in the room should make the determination whether that's expensive or not expensive. That is a due that an employee took a position, is choosing to be in the union. They're paying dues for those parts of their jobs to be bargained. And then the non-union positions, they're taking those positions knowing that they're not union positions. Those are at-will positions and somebody is not bargaining on their behalf. Policies and procedures just help those that currently are in this super undesignated bucket. They have been hired, nothing has been put in writing, they've been told they're gonna follow a union contract, which contract, any of that. it makes an HR logistical nightmare because there's no consistency. The current employees that have been having that union benefit but not paying union dues will be grandfathered in. Anybody else hiring new to the county will have a policy that they follow, that department head. Here's your sick, here's your vacation, here is your holiday schedule, any of that type of stuff. It's clarity in terms of what it's being done. I just respect the work that the union does.
Thank you, that was a very good explanation, I like that. Thank you.
If there's something in here that doesn't work out, we can change that at any time, correct?
Absolutely.
All right.
Right, is there anything else? Okay, we're done.
All right.
Right.
I got a first and a second. believe it or not.
Thompson, McComb, okay. Call the roll.
Hudson,
Yes or no? Approved.
The policies. All of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. You said yes, Don?
is that a yes?
Yes.
Kessel,
Yes.
Coomer,
No.
Mattson,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yeah.
Black,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Wilner,
Yes.
Arnett,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
No.
Bowler,
Yes.
Clark,
No.
Duchesne,
No.
Duquesne,
Yes.
Hoke,
No.
motion carries 12-6.
Hey. Okay,
Is that?
finance insurance, John?
Did it pass?
Motion carried 12-6.
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Roger, I'm sorry, did that pass, that last vote I took? didn't
It passed
catch that.
12-6.
Yes, yes, 12-6, it passed.
Thank you.
Community development, Bowles.
Just one resolution that should be very easy.
Don't bet on it.
Famous last word.
All right, Mr. O'Brien, could you read that, please?
Sure. Whereas Luann Grigsby has presented to the Fulton County Zoning Committee a plat for the Green Building subdivision, a part of the southeast and southwest quarters of Section 33, Township 7 North, Range 4 East of the 4th Principal Meridian, Fulton County, Illinois. And whereas no bond shall be required for this re-subdivision, now therefore be it resolved by the County Board, County of Fulton, State of Illinois, that the Green Building subdivision, a part of the southeast and southwest quarters of Section 33, Township 7 North, Range 4 East of the 4th Principal Meridian, Fulton County, Illinois, be and the same is approved by this Fulton County Board, and that the chairman of said board may place his signature on the same.
Thank you. I'd like to make this a motion.
Second by Coomer.
This is an area west of Canton out by state land. They're selling the house, but they want to keep their land, so they need to separate it.
Any questions?
No comment. Sorry.
It's all right.
I believe that, Jackson Road should have been stamped as public right of way.
We'll look into that.
Told you.
I told you. No, I've talked to her. We're going to check it out and see what we can do. Not a problem.
Okay. So Jackson Road should have been labeled different?
Jackson Road should have been labeled as a public right of way.
I think the legend tells you that or something.
Well, it's signed by the township
We
supervisor,
could
so.
not find that on the plat, maybe it's there somewhere. I
Okay.
couldn't find it.
All right, that
Well,
would have
Couldn't you read your map that you got on your email?
No.
Me
I like
neither.
this one back here better.
You can't read that one either.
Boy, take my glasses off. Couple shots.
Up at the top on the right, on the plat, Jackson Road, or on the left.
Yeah, over here, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson Road should have been stamped as a public right of way.
Is it represented in the symbology?
That's my opinion.
What's the stamp at now?
You know more about this than me.
Jackson Road.
Huh?
Down to
It's
the
just
left.
stamped as Jackson Road.
This is like, the, you know, something that has symbology, and it will like, if they put somebody on the road, like, easement,
Township
so on
right
and
there.
so forth. It doesn't necessarily have to say like, this is Jackson Road, public right of way. It will have symbology representing that it's.
Using it as a reference.
I don't know. All I have-
Using
all I
it
know
as a
about it is
reference.
Jackson.
All of these have lot lines that stop at the public right of way.
Is there something on there labeled as a public right of way?
Yes, if you look in the legend,
Deed or lot line?
deed or lot line.
That's what I was thinking, but I'm just the chairman. I'm not supposed to know this.
Julie,
A public right of
here's,
way
here's the expert on
would
this.
make it less ambiguous, that's all I'm saying.
That sheet's from the.
The lot line stops at the traditional.
So Jackson Road, Jackson Road is. So this part here,
Some of the prints are, some of the prints are, you don't know what you don't know what you're looking at.
actually, that is the section line, the easement boundary line. The lot line. That's where the easement is, so if I remember correctly, because there's an easement for, yes, the easement is sorry, there's an easement for ingress and egress to access this road that goes back to the private residence back here. So like, I believe the public lands stop.
Yeah, stop it there,
Yes,
yeah.
like this here, these dashed lines are representing the easement for ingress and egress, so that these people, not one, are not
Well, I
landlocked.
think what she's showing here is the right of way
There shouldn't be
alongside
any
of Jackson Road.
ambiguity. It should be stamped on Jackson Road that it's a public right of way, period. You shouldn't have to be up there trying to interpret it. It should be clear as mud. Public right of way.
That's not very clear.
Anyway,
No,
it's
what they
okay.
have marked, what
I
they
made my
have marked is an
comment.
easement for ingress and egress onto the private road that goes back to the existing residence. Where Jackson Road ends, that would be something you would have to take up with possibly,
There's only one house past.
I know, like, that's what this road is going to.
But you're not worried about having passed Jackson Road, you're worried about Jackson Road itself.
Well, we need to make sure that they have access to a public right of way. Is Jackson Road a public right of way or not?
That's
I
what
don't
the
know.
easement for ingress and egress is for, is so that they can access their lot is going onto, it would be landlocked without the easement.
Right.
Well, the little easement right there in front of, right, exactly.
On the
They
north
have that
side.
easement on the property. But the thing is that easement intersects the public right of way,
Okay,
right? Jackson Road.
yeah.
That-
It's
right,
a
it
dedicated,
gives
but it's
them
already
access
dedicated
to-
on a plat somewhere that it's a public right of way. It's not a new road.
I understand that. I completely understand all of that. It's just that the easement should connect to a public right of way.
So,
Jackson Road is not stamped as a public right of way.
It's not
That's the road
stamped
to
on the
road.
plat, no, it's not stamped on this plat that it's a public right of way, but it's a known public right of way because it exists in a recorded
So
subdivision
it'd
plat.
be really easy to just write on there, it's a public right of way.
That will need to be amended with a resolution adding on to what we already do with the plat act. So that's for future meeting.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check into, I told you it's gonna be easy.
I knew it wouldn't be.
I did my job.
I did my job.
But,
Okay.
we'll look into that.
Any other questions? Call roll.
Kessel.
Yes.
Coomer.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
McCollum.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Spangler.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yeah, no,
Which one is it?
it was a no.
Final answer.
Did I say yes too fast?
No is your answer?
Give her a no.
Williams.
Yes.
Wilner.
Yes.
Arnett.
Yes.
One more time, Cindy.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Beck.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Bowler.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Duchesne. Duquesne.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
And Hudson. Motion carried.
Okay. We'll move on to executive session for real estate matters, 5 ILCS 120/2 C5. Motion by Coomer, second by Mattson. Thank you guys for coming. You'll have to stick around. We're going to do anything afterwards. I'll read it. Roll call, please.
I know you did, I know you did.
Coomer.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
McCollum.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Spangler. Thompson.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Wilner.
Yes.
Arnett.
Yes.
Beck.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Bowler.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Duchesne.
Yes.
Duquesne.
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
And Kessel.
Yes.
Okay, everybody on there call in on the other number. I'm going to mute this. I won't close it out.
Bathroom while you're changing over?
Depends on how nice you ask.
Please.
You can move it once I get here. Hurry, you're on time. Can I shut that door off?
Yeah, it is.
It's not. It's just trying to make nice. Trying to clean things up. So,
I don't know it. It didn't. It didn't connect. Sorry.
Feels great.
I am so cold.
It feels great. Cold. It could be a little cooler in here.
Freezing.
Thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You are helping me.
I'm not right.
If you are the host, press 9.
I'd be killing on here, but I'm afraid to do that. I just ain't messing with this thing. So I'll just cover it up in case anybody's on there to read lists.
There are 4 participants in the conference. Please announce yourself.
All right, Is everybody on the phone? Who we gotta have on the phone?
Wilner, Arnett,
Okay.
um,
Cindy Arnett, are you
Kessel.
on there?
Duchesne. Arnett, you on there?
I'm on here, but you guys sound so very far away.
Yeah, probably because I got that covered up. Oh, no, that's, we on that over there. Huh?
Try it again.
Susan Duquesne, are you on?
Yes, I am. Sounds better.
Laura Hepkessel?
I'm here.
Heidi Wilner?
Yep, I'm here.
Everybody else is here.
Okay. We're here to talk about the Dollar General building over there. We've been discussing buying, or what we want to try to do. Fred Palin been pretty patient with us, and I think he's got the point where he's kind of wanting an answer. We had Bill Phillips come down, do a study on it, and decide what costs would be. And I think it's our consensus that it's just going to be too expensive and not get us where we want to be. Even if we bought it for, say, you know, he come in at 190,000, but he said he wasn't real set on that. We kind of discussed if we could get to 135 to 150. If he even come in at 135, it's about $180,000 to put in a fire suppression system that would protect the records we want to put there, not counting all the construction we would have to do in there to renovate it to what we want. And then in the end, he says it still has a wooden roof, and he says if it catch fire, you're not going to stop. So.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the gist of it. But the flip side of that is, you know, what's the intention of this? You know, the intention that we had when we last discussed this in executive session was that we have a third floor on our courthouse that's just full of whatever, right? There's records, there's furniture, there's boxes of only God knows what. There's no fire suppression system in the courthouse either.
That's the way I look at it.
So, I mean, if the courthouse burns down, we lose all our records anyways that are on site.
Exactly right.
That's your flip side. Is it, you know, I'm in the middle, half dozen.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think that this body will ever have the opportunity to buy a piece of property like that so close? No, I don't think we will. I don't think this body needs to overpay. I think this body needs to come up with a number to offer Mr. Palin. And if he turns it down, then he turns it down and we wash our hands. That's option one. Option two is just let the guy know that we aren't interested. We have two options that we need to come out with tonight, so that I can call him in the morning and say, hey, we're going to offer you 90,000 because that's all we can do right now. And, you know, we don't mean to offend, but that's all we can do. Or I'm going to call him tomorrow and say, you know, Fred and Mr. Palin, we just can't make it work. But, you know.
And our second option we've decided is to try to put up a storage building over here, maybe behind the board office.
But it'll be smaller.
Yeah, it would be about 3,200 square foot,
Yeah, it's
36.
a lot smaller than that building over there.
It is, that is. But it'll be an all steel building.
But it still burns. I'm
Yeah,
telling
but
you,
it's not
what's
gonna burn
inside
down.
of it will burn.
Yeah. Well, we'll put a fire suppression system in that too. I mean, but.
You got any kind of,
Okay, hang on, got it?
I think one of the points we're all missing is that if we take that property off of Fred's hand, which apparently he can't sell, it takes it off the tax rolls. We already own the lot.
This is true.
And that is an old building. It was there when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I'm old.
Okay, Lisa?
I wonder how many records could be digitized for $300,000 that wouldn't require maintenance and repairs and.
We could probably do quite a bit, but even ones that were digitized, I still think we still have to keep paper records of some stuff, don't we? You know,
There
Patrick?
there
Certain
are
things, yeah, yeah.
certain things, but I
But
mean,
we wouldn't lose them in a fire.
They might bring that building size down to a lot smaller too. We still have to build a building.
Probably to build a building, you're gonna be talking twice what it costs to build this one over here, buy this one over here, I'm guessing, I don't know.
then it's the
Phillips is
ongoing-
working on a estimate to build it.
It's the ongoing maintenance. They've already made it clear that Bill's maxed out.
They're talking about having
They're another
person.
maintenance person. I just wonder how much, I would really like to see us investigate how much of that we could get rid of by digitizing it. If we're gonna spend $300,000, we could get something done.
You got, Lester, do you have something?
Well, I was just seeing if you had an estimate on what that building would cost for construction.
Bill hasn't got it to me yet, he's working on it. Donna?
Well, how can we make a choice whether we're gonna put up a building or buy this one tonight if we haven't heard from Bill? About-
You don't have to make a choice on that theoretical building over there. The thing we need an answer on is across the way.
Well, that's what she's saying, or she doesn't see how we can make a decision on that if we don't know what we're doing, one way or the other. And we don't have to make a decision tonight, but Palin's been pretty patient, and I'd really like to give him at least an idea of what we're doing. Carl?
What's our consensus? I mean, we can sit around here and talk about it, but we are not the department heads. We're not just Andrew. What's our consensus on department heads? That's their business. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they need. For people that's not been employed from by the county or the department heads knows what they need. Will that work for them? What's their consensus? Have we even asked?
Well,
them?
yeah, we've talked to
And
them.
that's what we
And-
need to know.
and
They're
they-
the ones that's gonna ultimately have the use of it.
And-
If they don't want it or don't think it'll work.
I mean, Char said it worked good for her as far as putting the records over there and stuff, but we still can't come up with whether they'll be fully protected or not like they're supposed to be.
And you still got a really old building.
Yeah, the building's really in nice shape. If it just wasn't for the wood roof, it'd be perfect. But, you know, it'd cost 5 times what we're gonna pay for the building to put a roof on it, steel roof. So,
Has he been trying to sell this before he offered it to us?
I don't think he's really been actively trying to sell it.
No, he actually offered it to us first, before Dollar General even moved out. So he's kind of waiting on an answer for us so that he can actively put it on the market.
And he did send me a thing saying that Dollar General was willing to look at releasing him from the lease or something, I think you said.
Yeah, because
their lease isn't up till next spring.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lease with them all the way through
March
2023. So they're still paying.
Oh, through 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the taxes on that we would lose by buying?
I don't know. And I don't know if Julie could give us that answer off the top of her head or not.
I can look if you got a second.
Well, you know, what I was thinking, if we tell him no, he tries to sell it, he can't sell it, he don't wanna pay taxes on it, it may go right back to what I suggested at first. We'll take it and we'll name it after him. That's for free. We're not paying nothing if he wants his name on it.
It might be just right.
Yeah. He could probably get somebody to buy it if it comes down far enough.
And then we keep getting property taxes for it.
I don't know the answer.
Or it becomes, I mean, they just said that's what everybody works to do.
I don't know if that building's in the city's TIF district or not. I don't think it is. I have to look at the TIF map to see.
And are we talking about it entirely used for folders and files and stuff? I mean, pretty much entirely, is that what it's for?
Well, it's gonna be for storage. I mean, that's gonna be its main purpose. And see, like me, I've been throwing around trying to, I would like to eventually, I probably won't happen while I'm here because I'm out here 141 days.
How many?
141. That we hire, another person for the board office. And because we need somebody in there, because we gotta have to do something with the website. John Young done with it, and I'm getting off subject here, but and hire an extra person to do that. And I would like to have a central purchasing place, so we buy all the stuff for everybody in the county. They come, but you have to have somebody that gets that stuff, and then somebody there to hand it out. So you have to staff something like that. And this person I thought could kind of be a multi-person person. Danny?
The other option that we could maybe look at, this might be an option, this particular real estate matter, is we own that parking lot behind the board office already.
Mm-hmm.
We own the board office. The only thing on that block we don't own is the little white house on the far corner and the brick building on the front corner, correct?
But the other corner there, did we sell that or we lease that for the fiber optic line? And it's not it's half the size of this room. Yeah, it's like I said, it's half the size of this room, so we kind of took a chunk out of there, and it's kind of worthless lot now, but that part over there, but we wouldn't use that for probably then. But yeah, Bill, I talked to Bill today, and he was saying that if we could build it up there in the parking lot, would save us a lot in bringing in Phil to put it in there, for a base. So I haven't really looked at how. I'm assuming he means kind of like close to that brick building there.
I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, even though you're building a smaller building, to get the fire suppression, the security and everything you need in it, I don't think you can build it for what we're talking on this building, possibly even.
Yeah. Justin?
Never mind.
Here with the other county buildings that we have, aren't there are a couple of buildings we have here in town?
I know.
If we bought that building, could we take the materials out of those and move them into this building and sell those buildings? I know we got a couple other little properties. Isn't there one across from the county board building? And
It's a home.
Oh, that's the back building. Yeah, we wouldn't want to get rid of that. We just bought that. Actually, we've got that lease. Welcome back, Ron.